I'm not sure if you are aware, you may be, just how important this race is to the canon of SG-1. It is a literal cornerstone, one of the 4 cornerstones that hold up the lore of Stargate, this species. Were you aware of that?
I have an inkling of it. As the years have gone by, people have told me at conventions that sort of thing. I was certainly not aware of that for years, but as I said, in my participation in conventions where people who are fans of Stargate come up and tell me things like that, I'm flattered, and that's great. I certainly had a wonderful time shooting the episode, and if we have time, I'd like to tell you what I think is a really sweet story about how I got that job.
Please.
Okay. So there are 4 knocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 knocks in that episode. There's myself. There's Frida, who plays basically my wife. Yeah, Elia. The young man. And there's an older gentleman as well. Well, that older gentleman is one of my dearest and oldest friends, long before Stargate. And in fact, we had met in my early career in New York, where we did a Broadway show together, and we were best buds in that show. And I, for years, have been trying to convince Ray. His name is Raymond Zyko, trying to convince him to move to LA for his career and just for a better lifestyle. And he came out and was living with me and had an audition for Stargate and got cast as that part. Thank you. And after about 2 days after he had gotten the information that he had been cast and was ecstatic about that, the casting director called me up and said, Armin, we didn't know each other, but she called me up. I don't know why she went around my agent, but she did call me at home and said, we'd like to offer you the part of Anteaus in Stargate. And I said, wait, is this the episode that Ray Zyko was in? Now, she had no idea how I could possibly know that, because she didn't know Ray was living with me at the time. And she said, yes. And I said, I'll take it. And she said, do you want to know about the part or how much money or what the billing is? I said, no, Ray's in it. I'll take it. So I did. The agent called a little bit later and said, I understand you've taken this part. I said, yeah. And then I did ask a question of my agent. I didn't ask the casting director. I said, is there any makeup involved? Because at this point I was a little tired of Quark's makeup. And they said, no, there's no makeup whatsoever. So you'll be fine. Of course, they didn't tell me about the headdress, which was problematic when we put that on. And because we did that episode in the woods where it rained a great deal, that straw headdress began to wilt as the days went by. But that's how I got into Stargate. Thank you, Ray Zyko.
Wow. And he later appeared on in Voyager.
That's right.
As well. That's terrific. So what did you think of Anteaus and the Nox as a species? These pacifists who really ultimately honestly turn out to be more like Organians from the original series. You know, it's very similar. As a Star Trek fan, you probably recognize that yourself. There's a very similar arc there. We are not as we appear.
That's right. The young don't often do as they are told. I loved it. I love the twist at the end. I love that reveal at the end. And it was a chance, also an opportunity for me to play something different than Quark. Anteaus, whose name I don't believe is ever mentioned in the episode. No. He may, but I don't think it is. But in the script it said Anteaus, so I knew that's my name. which ironically is the name of the theater company. It has nothing to do with the Stargate, which ironically is the name of the theater company that I helped run, or used to help run.
Wow.
But I had a wonderful time. The people on Stargate were just starting their careers on Stargate, and that they, of course, knew that I was now for several years been on Star Trek, so they had lots of questions about conventions, about fandom, about that sort of thing, and they were lovely, lovely people. And if you ever watch the episode again, they rarely shoot you below the knee, because all of us were filled with mud from the fact that it had rained every day, and there were times, really difficult times sometimes, finding your mark in the mud, because the mark was all covered with mud and you didn't know where you were supposed to stand. But that aside, that no one needs to know about, it was a lovely, lovely time. I had a great time with all the actors on the show who couldn't have been sweeter, just really very nice. And of course, when we weren't working, I spent all my time with Ray, and we went out to dinner.
Was that the first time you'd worked in Vancouver?
I don't think so. I think I did a small movie whose name I don't remember in Vancouver as well. I've come to realize what a great place to shoot a TV show Vancouver is. They have a great, their bench for crew is phenomenal. They can shoot so many shows there because they have so many technicians who are very good. And therefore you can shoot lots of things there, because if somebody's working on one show, another person equally good could be hired to do another show.
Mm. Linda, do you have any questions about the Nox specifically?
You said that the headdresses were very problematic. Did you have to go for like costume fittings for the outfits before?
Yes, of course,
sort of
all that, and they took a head cast of my head to make the straw crown what it was. But because we were in the rain and there was only one, as like say a hero, there was only one hero straw thing. They couldn't replace it. So they were constantly fluffing it up because it was wilting. It was in the rain. It was just wilting.
Yeah.
Wilting.
It's Vancouver.
But because they had to do all that work, it made sitting there a little bit longer as they fluffed it up and made it look as much like the original first day as they possibly could. But I didn't have to wear any prosthetics on my face, for which I was enormously grateful. And again, that's minor stuff. What was really good was the story, which was, I thought, incredibly good. And again, I want to reiterate, I love the twist at the end. Again, it's the perception that these Nox needed to be helped, that they were incompetent of taking care of themselves, the humans were superior to the Nox because they were so much better off than the Nox.
Yeah.
And then at the twist to find out, no, it's the other way around. Thank you very much. Yeah. I love that.
I've always wondered, were they intended to be using some sort of technology we just didn't see? Or did they have, in fact, powers to,
Yeah, what's your interpretation of that, Armin?
I've always thought it was technology. I don't think they had powers, but it is very possible that's true. No one shared that with me one way or the other.
Okay.
But in my own mind, I thought it was technology, which allowed them also to construct their cities up in the clouds. That's not a power. That's simply their technology.
Yeah.
And they had come to learn that simplicity was better than complexity, and that simplicity was what made life worth living.
Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. You can find the full live stream shows on our YouTube channel or visit dialthegate.com for the complete schedule. See you on the other side.